Hey Giga. I'm just gonna go over a couple notes I had. Uh, and I think, yeah.
Ready for battle. Allow me to repair the damage. Injured again. Carry out what needs the Allow me to repair the damage.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
Okay, so I watched a little bit of, well, I watched all of the gameplay, but I think
What an interesting hypothesis.
these two fights sort of show what I sort of want to highlight here is just triage
Allow
of
me to repair the damage.
um,
Injured again.
who needs to survive and who needs resources.
I will unmake you.
And also that last fight use of coalescence.
Help me.
So here, oh, that's a terrible picture, but that's fine. Here, if you, I mean, there's a difference for Moira healing if you hold down left click compared to just tap left click. So like if you tap it, like let's say someone's at half health and you tap it really lightly on them, they will get over the next 4 seconds. I think they changed it to 65 health. So that's really nice for trying to conserve resource, where you just have to like heal up a lot of people. You just tap it really like lightly, and you're just like, okay, that'll give you 65. Wait a couple seconds, tap it again. That'll give you another 65. You don't have to just hold it on them. But when people are low, you hold it on them because you want to give them the health really fast. And then there's also the difference between the reason why Moira is such a strong healer is, especially at a lower level, uh, is she heals a literal like like a truck basically. It's just like here, have all of it. And so if you if you left click and heal orb someone, it's more healing than coalescence by itself. And so, I mean, if you want to get someone immediately from 0 to full, it's orb and coalescence, and that will basically instantly put them to full. But here, in at least our version of goats, sort of, when they engage, so Lucio's going to speed boost onto them, or Lucio's going to speed boost and try to get our tanks onto them. And that's where they're going to take a lot of damage because they're just going to sort of run at them. The D.Va should be holding DM, but there's still some damage, like a Zarya beam or something coming through. And then once the DM runs out, they're going to take they're going to be hit by a truck of just like, oh, here's all the damage you guys have been missing. And so that's when you need to save your orb for, and then also just hold left click.
Not yet.
So right here, I think you guys could win the, well, like 2 seconds before this, I think you guys could have won the fight if you heal orbed and then coalescenced and just healed people. Because it does heal, yes, coalescence is a really good sort of picking off support in the backline because it goes through shields, it goes through everything, and it just pierces. And it does pretty good damage, but it also heals a lot. It's not like a Zen trans or anything, and it's not, but it's better than like a Mercy Valk. So if you heal orb and coalescence at the same time, they'll be pretty invincible. I mean, you have to be taking a lot of damage to get through that, or antied. So heal orb plus Coalescence, and plus since Moira builds her ult amazingly fast, like you built it before the point unlocked. Just Coalescence. I would treat it as like a very long cooldown ability, but something that you're gonna build it every like 30 or 40 seconds. I mean, to be honest, it's gonna be up basically every other fight, if not every fight. And so just Coalescence to win it. It's not something you should be holding back and keeping because it's not gonna. If a Reaper ults on top of you, if a McCree ults, it's not gonna save you from those things. It's gonna allow you to win a fight though that is on the fence where your team is pretty critical, or I mean, just needs the healing, or needs the healing and the damage. Because if you can line up everyone of Coalescence into the enemy team, that's game changing. That's enough damage and healing output from you that there's so much value there that the other team can't stop that, and that it's just so much value to your team that you're gonna win basically no matter what.
Get into position. Your body decays.
So then I also remember you mentioning somewhat that there was sort of like you might run out of resource like in the middle of a fight, but there are sometimes like, I mean, how I play Moira is like you can tape down, sort of right click if you aren't healing or doing it. If you basically aren't doing anything, just hold down right click. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess, right? Because there's no animation time between going from right click to left click. So, and if you get a tickle of damage, you get some resource back, and you also get healing, or you get health back, and you tickle them. So there's no reason to not hold down right click for all time unless you have to heal. That will also solve some of your resource problem.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
Okay, Lester.
I'll be watching over you. I'm taking care of you.
So this is a hard fight, especially with. I told Frode the speed boost, so when you switched from Moira to Mercy,
Valkyrie online.
he needs a little more. He's expecting a lot more healing to come out, and so I would attribute most of these fights to losing because of that. Not that Mercy's a bad healer, it's just it doesn't fit in goats amazingly well.
Let's get to that outfit.
Not much you could have changed here. You put out as much value as you could. Faster.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zarya, ready for duty.
I'm taking care of you. I'm with you. We need to go.
Okay, so here, what makes Pharmacy so valuable and so hard to take down is where is your Pharah? Ah, okay. So what makes Pharmacy so good is Pharah's ability to keep Mercy in the air, so you're hard to target. Though you guys found out this was hard in Volskaya, but it's hard to target, and like if you're a solo hit scan, you can't take down Pharmacy unless you have pretty good aim. You're not gonna take down Pharmacy, and so especially since it's a 2v1, the Pharah here should be positioning herself sort of behind the enemy team so that she can rain rockets in, so at them, and her team gets in for free because she can't be killed, but also has to be dealt with. And so I think multiple times here, you guys got split up. I don't know if that was... nope. Nope. There we go. I don't know if that was just far conking incorrectly, but you have to be okay with the Pharah is the win con here, and the ground team should fight accordingly, and you shouldn't have to help them. It's not like you should be guardian angeling between the two to get the most value out of healing, because I mean even time spent between is not healing one side or the other, and so staying with the Pharah is the most value that you can have, especially if the Pharah plays pretty aggressive and makes the space for the infantry or the ground team to walk in. Unlucky. Yeah, so you were sort of tied to where the Pharah goes. It's really, the Pharah has to take an off angle, like so, but she also have to... Okay, so I can see the decision making here. It's, I can't actually get to the Pharah over here because my shifting is bad, like my shifting range is not that far, and so I should just go with the team. But this is where you need to calm Pharah, come pick me up, because she's too far away. And this is on the Pharah, not on you. If the Pharah leaves you, it's not your fault. It's the Pharah's fault. And so that's just... But you need to stay with the Pharah. I'm not really sure if we're going to be running Pharmacy, but that's just... That's how Pharmacy works, is... The Mercy is very tied to the Pharah.
The wonders of modern medicine.
Okay, I actually don't have that much more for Pharmacy, so I'm gonna move on.
I'll be watching over you.
No, we play Pharmacy here. I think we play, yeah. I think your Moira is
Come on, let's bring it
really
together.
good. I don't know why you guys switched here, but your Moira is definitely your like strongest character, and really there's just tiny things that you can improve that will just instantly make your healing go up by like
Have you seen my schedule?
like
I am
easily
loving this.
just into the sky amounts of healing. Yeah, I'm gonna go find Moira. I think it's later in this. Yeah, there we go.
Let's up the tempo. Allow me to repair.
Okay, Moira.
Apagando las luces.
The storm. Or do as you like. That changes my thinking. Get into position.
Barrier activated.
Do. So this was a little noticeable that. Can I go back like 6 seconds? Okay, so the one thing that I noticed is getting value out of your orb. And so everyone here is at full. Moira really works best when you wait for someone to take damage. And so like Ana, you don't care if you miss a shot through a fully healed teammate because it's one shot and you can reload really fast. But since your orb is on cooldown, that's something that you have to really think about is just, should I orb here? And which orb should I use? If you're playing main healer, I would suggest usually I would go with healing like 9 times out of 10. But there are some small cases where you use damage orb. I mean, finishing off a very key target, just poke damage. But it's so even here, if you want, okay, throw an orb, it shouldn't be healing. If you were gonna throw an orb, throw it down main, throw damage orb. It makes the diva use DM, or you get damage out, and you just get ult charge for it. That's where you should be throwing your orb at the beginning of a fight, is a damage orb straight down. That's a very good use of an orb. Well, I wouldn't say very good, but it's a use of an orb that's at the start of the fight that you get value out of. Here, and I think there were a couple other ones that is just like you throw an orb when everyone's full health. And so if everyone's full health, throw a damage orb. Also, Moira's range on her right click is pretty long. So you got a tiny tickle there. That might be enough. That might be the difference between killing someone and not. If other people are shooting at him for, like, if he's available for, like, let's say a second, if everyone's shooting at him, that tickle might be the difference between him being killed and him walking away with like 3 health. So just hold down right click. There's no downside.
This will heal you.
Very good shift. You know that mines will kill you, and so the shift out here was really good. The door to your left would have been good, but because you would have been closer to your team, but you've eventually found it and basically saved your team for that.
I'm under attack. Bearing the duck.
Squad.
I must reflect upon this. This will restore you. I will rebuild you.
Its destination.
Okay, my question is, what is a game-changing thing you can do right here? Is there is like one really good thing that you could do right now, and that's press coalescence. And because you have people low, they are being healed from your beam. You don't have orb, but if you wanted to, you could shift over and heal them. But we see a hacked Pharah. Not huge threat, but still someone, and we see 3 other people. There's a Doomfist over here, but we see 3 other people. So this is a point when Frode is low, but he's trying to, or he's in a sort of bad place. And blue is out of mech, and red is trying to keep people off them. This is a place where Coalescence would change the fight and would probably win the fight because of value. If you wanted to take yourself and shift over here, oh god, shift over here and just Coalescence through them, the amount of value you get for healing your team and damaging theirs and keeping your and giving your team, even if they take damage, healing basically, is huge value.
Cease your resistance.
I like that you know the tech for shooting the orb down into the ground because it gives more healing out, or it gives the bounce too. It's a... You guys win this fight,
When faced with a setback,
but
we must challenge our
I think
assumptions.
it would be okay to Coalescence here and just ensure it. Because again, you're gonna build Coalescence every other fight. It's not a... Don't think of it as a defensive ult. It's just an ult to get as much value as you can.
Regenerate cellular structure.
That was a very good shift. It allowed your diva enough time to put DM on her and keep yourself from taking the damage. This is another fight where you could just shift out to the back line and just Coalescence. And I would how I like coalescing is basically putting my hand just like behind a tank that is in combat or something, or just taking damage, and then aiming it through them into the enemy team. And so I'm automatically getting value out of healing someone, but also being able to get damage out. And so like if you can line it up with more people there, like you can get 2 or 3 of your teammates in front of it and get another enemy, that's amazing value.
I'm not dead yet. Get into position. Repairing the damage. The power of destruction.
This is a good use of a damage orb, is you figure out that there are people over here, because it also helps Sombra a little bit, but you get ticks off of your damage, and so you get to know that there are people up here without all like being able to see, because you weren't able to see the Pharah or the Diva, but you get to know that sorry, that there are enemies up here.
Team up for special attack.
Don't mess with me.
This enemy turns down.
Go to sleep.
Hurry out. Walk it off. I'm under attack.
Apagando las luces.
Restoring you.
So whenever someone, yes, it's a waste of resource a little bit, but it's always better to try to keep someone alive or in mech. And so I never feel bad about if someone is going to die or something, to just hold down left click. It's never it's it's better in the fight for them to be alive or in mech than anything else. It's not exactly your problem that you're out of resource, but it's just it, you can gain resource back. You have the ability to sort of walk away from a fight or fade away from a fight basically, and just throw an orb and be like, this is the healing you get for a little bit because I need to go farm a little bit of resource. And so hold down left click a little more. Pulsing is good to give sustain and keep yourself in resource, but it's also, if you're pulsing, there are other healers that can do just as much healing, and so it's sort of why play Moira.
Healing it up.
Allow me to repair the damage.
You're on the go! Push them out of there, kid.
Injured again.
Fire in the hole!
Watch your back. Enemy in my sight.
Good fade.
Get into position. Yes.
Scout them out of there. Enemy being revived. Get in there, dog.
Good orb, good fade.
This will improve your condition.
I don't think there was a better place for you to hide.
Enemy turret up ahead.
So that was
Enemy turret's not gonna bother us anymore.
There was a flaw in my approach.
Score. 5-4.
Here it comes!
Locate.
This will heal you. Regenerate your cellular structure.
Smoke them out of there!
Have my thanks.
Repairing the damage.
What is going on? Get that bond and ready!
I'm restoring you.
Mecha activated!
Burn!
Now show them!
Get into position. You seem in need of aid. Allow me to repair the damage. You can surrender to my will.
I think that use of coalescence was a good thought. It just ended up badly because they were both antied. But that's the type of sort of use of coalescence that will change fights. When you can even use it before that, it's a good engage, just because you can run at them with it, and like your tanks can just sort of run at them, and it gives them a pretty good sustain of just being able to go forward. But that was a good use of coalescence, even though it didn't work out. That's sort of the idea, is just you can change a fight with a pretty like like shatter will change a fight. Like, okay, the top 5 ults is like trans, beat, grav, shatter, and EMP. Coalescence isn't one of them. I would put coalescence as one of the like worst ults in the game. I mean, it's not wonderful. I mean, whole hog's pretty bad, but it still can change fights because of how much value you can bring because you're healing your team and damaging the others.
Time the delayish. This will restore you. This will improve your position. Gale the Mahol. Help me. I'm restoring.
So you just used Coalescence, right? You have Coalescence back. This is why Coalescence is a very fast charging ult, and it's also a very good ult just to use. So like this Moira did well. She used it, and I think they used one ult. Oh no, they used bongos too. They used Coalescence and bongos, and they sorry, and they fended you off, or they at least just sort of picked you apart. That's very good use. Coalescence and bongos is actually a very good combo, I would say, especially for a sort of static comp, such as Ryan Zarya, or against Ryan Zarya, just because Coalescence doing 50% more damage is a lot of damage, especially towards squishies. And since it pierces, that would be pretty strong. That's a pretty good ult combo. There's also, I think I wanted to talk about this a little bit, was a nice tech for Moira Fade is to jump at the end. And so you get a decent, it's sort of like a Rhine charge. If you jump at the end, you go farther. And so that's just a great way of getting places and getting out. Faster, faster, faster.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science. Allow me.
No one can hide from us.
Just an only note, just remember that your healing doesn't go through shields. It goes through allied shields, but it doesn't go through enemy shields. Your Coalescence does. So, see, you gotta pick with the Coalescence.
I require assistance.
Just a really good ult to use when you can.
Get into position.
10 seconds.
Enemy ahead.
Destroying the Higashi. We must ensure the payload's progress. This will I'm restoring.
You got a little unlucky here, but that was a really good use of Fade and Orb.
I must reflect upon this.
You also got a little unlucky with the shit spawn here, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Faster!
This will restore you.
Don't waste my time.
I am moving the payload.
Become Karula. This will heal you.
Cease your
This
resistance.
will improve your condition. The payload moves towards our desired outcome.
That is a really good use of just holding left click. The Zarya really needed it. You got it. It also gave you shit tons of ult charge.
This is my will. Get into position.
Nothingness.
I'm under attack.
My ultimate is charging.
Allow me. Fire at will.
Coalescence and Grav is a fine thing to just throw out because, well, whenever our team grabs, just throw out Coalescence, just to make sure there's enough damage. I don't, unless we have a Hanzo, but I don't think we will. It's always a good pairing just because of piercing damage.
The enemy is here.
Fun fact: Coalescence also gives you movement speed. It's a great way of just like running around if you have to get test. It's a great way of just running around the payload and just zapping people, especially going really fast. Coalescence also gives you health regen. So here, you're fighting an Orisa basically alone. Just use Coalescence to try to win. She can't kill you during Coalescence, and you can definitely kill her. It's not like Nano where it gives you instant health though, so like using it before is always better because it keeps you up, and so like it gives you that 200 buffer of like, oh, I'm taking some damage. Oh no, I'm getting healed. So like as long as you have that 200 buffer, using it at like very low health won't save you.
Here it comes!
Okay, I think I end most people in Nepal just because we were really close. And I think that's the best learning opportunity is when you have a very close loss. Anyway, let's move along here.
Help me.
So this is a really good example of like toggle left click / full on left click. People haven't taken a lot of damage, and so it's a good just like they need healing, but like not a pocket.
I'm restoring.
Okay, see how instantly fast this red went up? He went from half health to basically full in less than a second because you healed him, or you left clicked him and orbed him. That's how strong Moira's healing is. Good shift. Hog is scary.
Injured again. Get into position.
So at the start of the fight, I would go with, you probably want to throw a damage orb and keep them from walking in for a little bit of freedom. So like, here, yeah, sure, orb yourself, but we have enough healing, just call for it. Don't waste a cooldown on yourself. When I'm playing Ana, the worst thing I can do is nade myself. And so, when I'm in comp, I basically yell at my off support to be like, heal me. I don't care. I usually play with my friend, and so I just yell at him, and I'm just like, orb me, orb me, orb me, orb me, because he plays Zen. And so he orbs me, and I heal the rest of the team, because he believes in my healing ability, but it's also just, I have more healing output than him, and so let's not waste a cooldown because we need a little top up. Just like, call for it. It'd be like, heal me.
Regenerating your cellular structure. I need to recharge. This will heal you.
冻住，不许走。
This was good looking back after our Zen, since he is our DPS. He does need to be a little protected, plus he's squishy, and it's good to go for 2-on-1s.
I'm under attack. Your strength ebbs. This will restore you. Calm yourself.
EMP charged.
Oh, faster, faster.
There was a flaw in my approach. Get into position. I'm restoring you.
Good old. Very good old. I'm gonna talk to Riley, because, questionable. I think I remember when I was watching his, he got pressured, but that's, we're gonna work on not, doubling up on support ults, because I think there was another time when, both, the Zen and the Lucio beated and transed. But Coalescence, don't think of a support ult. Just think of it as like a, I do damage, but I also heal. And so it's just a better version of what you do.
Allow me to repair the damage.
冻住，不许走。
Restoring.
Anyone want to join me?
This will heal you.
Огонь по готовности!
Justice reigns forever.
I'm not dead yet. More. Get into position.
Experience tranquility.
Fire at will!
Gales from afar. This will heal you. Go through a bloody.
At this point, why not use Coalescence? It's a 4v3. Change the fight. Make it a you ulting in a 4v3.
Time with the legs.
Team up for special attacks! I will not be denied! Three, two,
Regenerating your cellular structure. This will heal you.
not right!
Not yet.
This is the point where holding that left click is your friend. You do need to just get resource back. And so Moira doesn't do well in long fights, but you just need to, whenever you're not healing, hold down left click, because there's no sorry. Whenever you're not healing, hold down right click because there's no reason not to, and because instant transfer back and forth, but you just get resource, and there's unlucky. Yeah, we're just gonna skip this whole fight. There is nothing fun there. This was a good,
Get into position. More. Allow me.
So I think here, hello? Okay, figured it out. If you just shifted over here, so see where Beetle is? He is in a pretty good position. This would be a decent position for you, especially since you have Coalescence. You can just, you can go from here and shift off over and land over here. Or if you're not that confident, you can just walk and then come over here. But if you coalesced into them, we would have won this fight. Just because the value you would have given people of not being in the middle of them, sure, but also just coalescing on them.
Gale de Mahol!
Yeah, next map.
Help me! Your strength fades. I will rebuild you. This will restore you.
I think the one thing you do really consistently, especially on this map, is take care of the sim turrets. It's amazing. I wish I had people who do that in my ranked games, because I just, as Ryan, I walk through and I'm just like, oh yes, there are 3 sim turrets on my back, and then no one deals with them. And so this is a really good use of just, you do enough damage with your left, or right click. Oh my god, I'm so bad at saying words. You do so much damage, or enough damage with your right click that it's worth taking down sim turrets for, and since the rank can't reach them, it's really worth it. But you do it consistently well throughout the whole map here.
This will improve your condition. I will not be denied.
Perfect example of that.
Get into position.
Experience tranquility.
So this was not a bad time, if you wanted to, is throw a damage orb out. So like, if you position yourself here, sort of, depending where they are, and just throw the orb in this general direction, you can bounce off this wall and sort of get into them. It gives you some nice little charge. Not that you need it. I would also say, if you have it, don't throw damage orbs, because that just feeds the enemy team.
Allow me to repair the damage.
动住，不许走！
That's unlucky. Here, you could have, if you hear a male in your general direction, you might want to just coalescence, just because it gives you the movement speed that you need to get out. Or if you see it hit and you don't have shift up, you could Coalescence just to get out of it. Shifting, I think you can basically make it, especially if you jump at the end, you can make it, yeah, you can make it out of any center of the mail. But then if you, especially if you call it, oh god, I'm in the map. If you Coalescence afterwards, you could definitely make it out.
I cast this.
So I would say here that Coalescence isn't a defensive ult, it's a aggressive ult, more or less. So whenever you're pushing, use that. But yes, it's a good instinct to try to Coalescence a Reaper ult, but it's never going to go well. He's always going to outdamage your healing. That's what a trans or a beat is for. That's not what Coalescence is for. But it's a good instinct to try to pop it to heal someone, but it's not a defensive ult, it's an aggressive ult.
We must all make sacrifices in the name of science.
Check this out.
Regenerating the cellular system. This will heal you.
Experience tranquility.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
洗澡。
I'm under attack. Find their weakness and claim the objective. Get into position. More. Under the ledge. This will restore you. Victim Karula. Surrender to my will. I'm under attack.
Okay, perfect comboing of abilities. You got out a heal orb onto point, so it basically bounces around inside no matter what. And you got Coalescence out. The one thing here is positioning, so you run into them. I would suggest either running into them and positioning yourself here so that you can spray across point, basically just straight across into your Rhine, or positioning yourself, okay, yes, there's a Reaper here, but positioning yourself sort of out here. Coalescence is a long beam, so that you can get the most value out of it. You're doing the most damage, you're doing the most healing. Yeah, so here is the just okay. If we can enter the party search, that would be cool. So, like, sort of the biggest things I noticed was just the difference
Science will
between
reveal the truth.
like tap left clicking and holding left click down. So like, oh god, my sensitivity is so high. So tap healing and holding down healing, and then
You seem in need of aid.
poor guy. And how much orb and
This will restore you.
can do, and so a lot. So then there's also the shifting, so shift and jump at the end, you'll go a lot farther. So I'll just show you the distance, I guess. So from the 10 meter mark, oh, shift, takes me about 15 meters, and shift jumping takes you about 15 or 20-ish, depending. If you shift jump, it's about 20 meters. I would also say the range on healing is pretty decent. You tried, I saw on Nepal, to heal from a really far away. It's pretty far, but it does have travel time. That's the only thing, is you can heal, but it does have travel time. And then also, a good point on how far range is, I'm at the 20-meter mark.
You grow weak.
That's pretty far. So even if you're just holding down left click, and you just like walk around, you're like, oh look, enemy. Like, and then heal, but oh look, enemy. So that's just, you just hold it down no matter what. Because you basically have instant, unless you're healing already, there's no animation time, really. So, just the two notes. And then, yeah, that's all the notes I have. Good job. It was a really close game at the end. And I think we're gonna do a lot better. Just because everyone is getting to gel with each other. So, talk to you later.